Nathan Fillion was born to play Nathan Drake. Come on, guys. Seriously, calm the hell down. Fillion or bust. Nathan Fillion's cool, but if Bradley Cooper actually gets the role of Nathan Drake, I'm open for that because I've watched the A-Team. He can pull off Nathan Drake. Anyway, I understand the Fillion fanboys will disagree with me, so prepare, get the shields, guys. The next question comes from Fire Red Trainer 01. What Sonic games have you played through, and which ones do you like the most? You know, the thing with Sonic is that, you know, while I do enjoy the franchise, well, the earlier part of the franchise, not the middle, and then I enjoy the later part, which is like the past 2 years. Sonic has never really been a series like Mario and Zelda where I really want to play all the games and enjoy them. You know, Sonic was more like every now and then, and with my brother being a Sonic fan, he buys most of the games, so I play them out at some point or another. But I never got into Sonic as much as other people did. But out of the games I have played, my favorites, Generations, Colors, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic 3, and I guess Sonic Rush on the DS. You know, like I said, I haven't played all of them, so that's why. But from what I played, all those games are really good. Okay. The next question comes from Hiei the Dark Reaper. Freaking badass name, man. Badass name. Have you ever played Fable 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Rant time. I played the original Fable back in the days, you know, with the original Xbox. Hey, Nuggets! What's up? Yeah, my brother just fart Nugget in here. Hey, Nugget, what are you doing? No, 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 you can't eat that. You can't eat that, boy. Alright, you wanna... Wait, where are you going? Come here. Say hi to the people. Say hi to the people on the internet. Hey guys, look, it's Nugget! What are you doing, boy? Okay, so... I originally played Fable back into the Xbox days. You know, my dad bought the Xbox and it had Fable and he's like, oh cool, here, play this game, Junior. Because my dad's named Christopher as well. And what I didn't know at the time was how overhyped Fable was. You know, Peter Molyneux hyped it up like freaking the third coming of Jesus, that it was going to be the greatest RPG. And I played it and I thought it was decent. You know, I didn't think it was amazing, but it wasn't terrible either. It would have been a complete letdown from what I read. But, you know, when they announced Fable 2, I was like, oh, you know what? Seeing as it's a sequel, they can probably fix all the things that are wrong with Fable. So I had a 360 in '08, and... What are you doing? Yeah, sniffing everywhere. So I had a 360 in '08, and I was going to get Fable for Christmas, but boy, am I glad I rented it. Fable 2 has to be probably the biggest RPG letdown since Final Fantasy 13. Well, that I've played, you know? What are you doing? Stop eating everything! That's my food. There's no food on the ground, he's just trying to eat stuff. What? Fable 2 was the biggest RPG letdown for me because he hyped it up again, and I thought that it was going to be amazing, you know, kick the crap out of every other game, but it wasn't. The graphics looked like they were fucking low-end PS2, you know, and I'm not a graphic whore, but that shit ain't pretty to look at. The voice acting was horrendous. The gameplay was awful. The co-op system was a joke. It was buggy and glitchy as hell, and I'm like, what the hell? Where is this generation-defining game? It wasn't there. So he goes on to Fable 3. Guess what? Peter Molyneux hypes the hell out of it. And you know what? Fable 3 comes out, and it's a joke. Take a Nugget with you?
No, where's the,
Where's the what?
that bird thing?
The bird thing's in Olivia's room.
Oh.
Okay. No, take Nugget with you. He's gonna try to eat something on the floor again.
Okay, come on, boy. Say goodbye, Nugget.
Yeah, he says bye. Alright. So back to what I was saying about Fable. Fable 3 comes out, and guess what? It's even worse than fucking Fable 2. I mean, they added in this ridiculous place where you have to go and, like, change your items and all that stuff. The Sanctuary. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And it's still buggy and glitchy as hell. It's like, he literally did nothing to change it. And it was even worse, man. I don't like talking about Fable. I really don't. And you know what sucks is that people still buy this shit. Fuck people complain about Call of Duty. You know, I'm sorry for complaining about Call of Duty. Compared to fucking Fable, Call of Duty is God. Just... You know what? Play Final Fantasy 13. I guarantee you're going to have a better experience than any of the Fable games. If you want a good Fable game, go back to Fable 1. Fuck you, Peter Molyneux. Seriously, stop developing video games. You know, at the least, stop hyping them up. And guess what? He's got Fable for Connect. Wow. He's probably going to hype that up too. The best motion game in existence. Alright. Okay. Next question comes from the Chris-O-Matic. Chris-O-Matic wants to know, what do you think's better? The PS3 or the Xbox 360? Yeah, this is another question I get asked a lot. Since I have owned both systems for almost 3 years now, which is better? You see, since I have other consoles, it's not just PS3 360, I can look at it from an outside perspective. They're both good in their own ways. Not one is better than the other factually. It all depends on what you want, what you're looking for. Take the 360 for example. In my personal opinion, the 360's online is a lot more smoother and it's a lot more easier to navigate. You can get into games quicker. You can communicate with people a lot easier than you can on PS3. It's just a smoother experience, and I do like the 360 controller a lot more. I think it's a lot more, the feedback you get from the buttons, it feels like it was better made than the PS3 controller. And then you move over to the PS3, and the online system I know gets a lot of flack from people saying like, oh, it sucks, it's horrible, but it's not actually that bad. For a free service, it's actually pretty good, for what it does. But then again, I have a gaming PC. Steam is free. It does everything the PSN does, but better. It has cross-game chat. And, yeah, it's not looking too good for the PS3, is it? But Xbox Live should not be worth $60. I don't care what anybody says. $60 a year and you still have fucking advertisements riddled on the dashboard, even with the new update. Come on. Seriously, Microsoft, what the hell? It does not cost $60. They charge it because they can. I would pay $20 a year? Yeah, but $60 is fucking ridiculous, But people buy into it anyway, when they could just take that money and get PCs. I'm just telling you, man. PCs is the future. Anyway, but what I really tell people is go where the games are, Go for the games that you really want to play. If you want to play, deep online FPS action, go for the 360 because they got Halo. If you want to play a cinematic movie blockbuster, play Uncharted, And the same thing with a Wii. If you want any of the Nintendo games, go for the Wii. It just all comes down to the games and what you want to play, and if you want to play with friends or not, that's really what it comes down to. I think the benefit is owning all 3 systems, all 4 platforms, because you get to experience the best out of everything. And if you're a smart shopper like me, then you can afford the best of everything while still being on a budget. So the real answer is just go where the games are. Okay, the next question comes from, James! What's up? That's my buddy Epic Dwarf Productions, hailing all the way from the UK. Did you watch the episode of the Bardock anime? No, I haven't. I know everybody's been talking about it, like this is this crazy thing, new animation, like whoa, but I haven't because it's just like that thing, it's like I watch it eventually, not when it comes out. So it's going to be on my to-do list as far as things I have to get down to watching. So I'll definitely watch the Bardock anime and possibly do a review on it. Oh, another one of my good friends. This one comes from Aussie T. Well, actually on YouTube his name is Aussie4. Dear Chris, if you had to choose between ripping out all of your nails one by one on a hand or watching all the Twilight films in a row, what would you choose? You dick! Okay. Alright. Watching Twilight films or ripping the nails off my hands? Twilight or nails? Fuck! This is the question I'm talking about. Sit here for 30 minutes going like, what to do? Okay. Well, I take the excruciating pain because it can be over relatively quick as opposed to the Twilight films where collectively all the films are like, 8 to 10 hours. And that causes mental trauma, it's going to cause damage to the brain. Whereas opposed to this, once the pain is over, it's over. So, I'll take the nails one. Alright, the next question comes from, Sickmore12 or Kickmore12, or I never really knew how to pronounce your name, man. How do you feel about the new Sly Cooper game? Definitely anticipating that. It's in one of my top 10 2012 lists somewhere, in some place, way, shape, or form. because first off, it's a new Sly Cooper game. If I played Sly Cooper back in the PS2 days, I would have definitely loved it as much as I loved Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, etc., etc. I only recently got to the series when they released HD Collection, so I know I'm kind of late on the games, but from what I've played, it's a fantastic series. And the fact that they're bringing out a new Sly game and that Sony even promoted it during their E3, really, it tugged on my heartstrings. I'm like, wow, Sony, good job. Good job. You keep whoring saying yourself like, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best, we're awesome. But you announcing a Sly game at your conference, good job. And the fact that it's being made by Sanzaru Games really doesn't bother me as much as other people because they ported the Sly Cooper games to PS3, so they know how to use the technology, at least as far as, you know, making a good port. And from what I've seen in all of the gameplay, it really doesn't look that bad, you know, especially considering like Sucker Punch is doing other things. It's understandable. Kind of sucks, but if they can provide a quality experience, then I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it, and I'm going to give them a chance, you guys. It's Sly fucking Cooper. Now, if they fuck up on it, then yeah, we're going to go attack them. But as of now, it's looking pretty decent. Alright, the next question comes from Matthew, 2XS. 2XS? 2XS. What do you think about Storm Generations? Yeah, I haven't really done an updated video on Storm Generations, have I? It's been a while. I think the last one I did was the developer interview summary back in July. So, quote-unquote, a long time. Storm Generations, you know, I want to point out something funny before I get to my thoughts. You know, you look at Storm Generations and you compare it to Storm 2 as far as how the hype was, you know, how everybody was talking about Storm 2, they were putting up scans, trailers, everyone was talking about what's going to happen. Because there was a lot going for it, because first off, it was a sequel to a Storm game on the PS3, you know, HD, beautifulness. You also got that it was adapting some of the more favorite parts in the Shippuden anime, like the Pain arc, the Hunt for Itachi, combined with the fact that it was being released multi-platform with the 360, and it had online. It was just so much hype surrounding it. And then it came out, and if you really want to know what I fully thought on it, I did a review, and it's on my channel, but the general consensus is that while it is a good game, it's just the philosophy, one step forward, two step back, really applies to it. They added in things that were good and they were welcome, but they took away a lot of those things that made the first Storm game fun. And from Generation standpoint, they've really listened to the fans when it came to improving on the fighting system. They've added in a lot more mechanics. First off, there's a combo canceling system. Freaking awesome. I've always wanted that in the Ultimate Ninja games, especially the Storm ones, because I could live with it with the 2D side-scrollers, but Storm games, definitely cool. The next one, because it's a 3D fighter, so it all works out. The next one is a substitution bar. That's awesome, so people aren't going to spam them. They're going to have to use them more, you know, effectively, not just spam the hell out of it online. And the online mode, oh man, the online, you see, this is what I'm talking about when I mean true fan service. They want to know what you want in the game. They put up things like, hey, what do you guys want to see in this game? Tell us, let's make this game better together. And they've added in a bunch of new online features. They've added in spectator mode. They've added in lobbies. They've added in tournaments. They revamped the entire system. Now it'll only come down to if they can come through with patches, maybe even some DLC to really keep us interested in the game. If they can, you know, nerf some characters that are going to be obviously overpowered and balance them for the online, I would love that. And you see, that's how you do fan support. That is listening to your fans, the people who put you where you are today. You hear that, Capcom fan nuts? Oh, Capcom cares about its fans. Capcom cares about us. If they really cared about their fans, they wouldn't have fucking canceled Mega Man Legends 3, Mega Man Universe, or freaking did what they did with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They wouldn't have done that if they really care about the fans. No. At the end of the day, business is business when it comes to Capcom. They care about themselves, they don't care about us. Point blank, end of the day. Alright, so it's looking pretty good so far. I'm really interested to see how the story is going to progress because we haven't seen much of it. There hasn't been really any emphasis on it as opposed to the new additions to the fighting system. So is it going to be better than Storm 2? Is it going to be not as good as Storm 2? How are they going to retell the stuff they already told? How are they going to tell this new content? There's much to wonder, but I am getting the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it week 1, maybe afterwards, because like I said, there are more profile games coming out in 2012 that are piquing my interest, like Mass Effect. So we'll all see how it works out. Next question comes from Koga. What's up, Koga? Have you ever read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? No, but I remember seeing a couple of ads for it in Shonen Jump, and that's really my extent to it. And I already answered the question about the PS Vita, so we wrapped up Ichikoga's questions in 5 seconds. Bryken777 wants to know, who do you think will win in a fight, Batman or Solid Snake? The goddamn Batman. There is no competition. Batman is the manliest man alive. He kicks the crap out of everybody, even freaking Goku. Even Goku. And I'll always stand by that. What was your first video game console you owned? This can include handhelds as well. The first video game console that this has ever graced this household was the Super NES. I remember the first game I played on it was Monopoly. Me and my sister, to this day, we still go back like, I don't know, once or twice a year, pop out the NES and play Monopoly. It was just a bunch of fun, and of course we played the Mario games that were released on it. And after that, the one I really invested time in was the N64 with, of course, Zelda Ocarina of Time. And, you know, the other games like Mario, Perfect Dark, Conquer, Donkey Kong, mostly Rare titles. I was a really big fan of Rare back in the day, and then Rare got to shitter when Microsoft bought them, so, yeah. Retro Studios revived Donkey Kong, that was cool. And then my first handheld was a Game Boy Color, Pokemon Red, playing that day in and day out, day in and day out. You know, next to Pokemon Silver, that's my favorite Pokemon game. And I still remember why it's so memorable to me, because my brother was teething at the time that I was playing it. So it was like the late 90s, and his bite marks are still on it. Alright, the next question comes from Anonymous. He wants to remain anonymous. Have you ever read the Hunter x Hunter, Devil May Cry, or Legend of Zelda manga? I haven't read any of the three. You know, people talk about the Legend of Zelda manga in particular, saying that, oh, you gotta read it if you're a Zelda fan, but then I've heard some mixed things about it, so until I actually read it for myself, I'm not gonna know, so I can't speak on it. And Devil May Cry, I didn't even know there was a manga for it. I knew there was an anime, but Hunter x Hunter, I haven't read the manga, but I read the, I watched, I keep thinking about manga, I watched the first anime adaptation. I haven't seen any of the episodes of the reboot yet, but from what I heard, Yokorama speaks highly of it, so I'll definitely give it a chance if it does end up coming stateside, or if I'm bored one night, I want to watch a new series, I'll give the reboot a chance. Alright. The next set of questions, I just think it's so long to load, there we go. Comes from Bruno News 95. Have you ever watched The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya and Cardcaptor Sakura? What are your opinions on them? Cardcaptor Sakura, man, that classic. Classic, come home from school, watch it, anime. I mean, the only thing sadly I can remember of the series would be the theme song, you know. Wind, rain, shadow, wood, Thor, thunder, power, sleep, card, captains of the cloud, take the unexpected now, the secrets of the cloud, we're all a mystery. Such a classic song. And then Haruhi Suzumiya, I have seen that series, and honestly, I don't know what to think of it. I don't know who to recommend it to. I don't know if I'd recommend it to, like, the people who like mystery, thriller, slice of life, because it's just, it's trying to be like so many genres in one that it really doesn't make sense, and how it was broadcast out of order in Japan was, it was so weird. It's like, I don't know what to think of it. It's like, is this a serious anime or not? But it's definitely fun to watch, I'll just say that. Alright, the next question comes from Nostalgia Trip 1. What are your opinions on Star Wars? What do you feel about what George Lucas is doing to it? Star Wars used to be one of my favorite franchises. I mean, the movies, the books, the animated series, the CGI series, it was just so good. But, you know, George Lucas is killing it. Point out, killing it. You know, he's spending all this time freaking retooling the movies, adding in new scenes, new special effects, all of this stuff, changing the movies that we grew up with, because he wants to introduce a new audience to them. Well, you see, the problem with that is, George Lucas, you're not getting anywhere by releasing a movie that came out in the 70s with 2010 special effects. It's gonna look awkward. It is. CGI Yoda was awesome, that was a good addition, but other than that, you're just changing all this meaningless bullshit stuff, you're just nitpicking the hell out of them, and these are our movies just as much as they are yours. Stop tarnishing our memories. I don't even own Star Wars on home media because I don't know what to edition to get. Because there's multiple DVD releases. There's multiple VHS releases with different changes whatsoever. This edition doesn't have James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. This one has somebody else. Oh, it has a special effect here. The ship is 20% more darker there. And then with the Blu-rays out, no. I mean, unnecessary changes up the ass, and with it coming out in 3D, that's just more money for George Lucas. And the 3D movies are gonna have more changes probably, and then he's gonna release those on DVDs in a box set with even more changes, and on Blu-ray and all that. It's just getting ridiculous. George Lucas, leave the movies alone, or you know what? If you still want to be involved in Star Wars, hey, dipshit, why don't you adapt some of the books to another trilogy? 7, 8, and 9? Hello? Major cash cow right there, and you know what? It'll be quality experiences if you actually do them right, not fucking it up like the prequels. So if you guys can't tell, I am really just pissed off with the entire Star Wars franchise, mainly because of George fucking Lucas. He needs to get the hell out of there. It's gone to a point, these movies aren't even recognizable anymore. And maybe that's just my inner Star Wars nerd really getting pissed off, but how would you feel if frickin' Miyazaki went back and he kept changing all of his old films, you know, the films that you probably grew up with? I wouldn't feel too right. I feel like I was being violated. Alright, so the next question comes from... Actually, you know what? I ventured quite a bit, so I might as well just take a drink. This one comes from XX Anime Fan XX1000. Have you ever played DC Universe Online? Yes, I have, in fact. Before my PC broke down, DC Universe Online went free to play, and I put like around 45 hours into it. It was a very addicting MMO. I'm not really a person who gets involved with MMOs, but I really enjoyed that because it was something related to comic books, a thing I enjoy to read. And it was cool seeing, you know, there was actually a sort of story surrounding the MMO. You had some of the famous comic book voice actors back, and it was fun, addictive gameplay. It's available on the PS3 and the PC. It's free to play on both. And if you have a PC that can play MMOs, I definitely recommend getting it on the PC because, well, an MMO should be played on the PC. You're going to get the best experience there. But the PS3 version is really good too. So whatever platform you play it on, definitely give DC Universe a chance. And it's free to play. It's free to play. Sure, it's a big file. It's 16 gigabytes on PS3. But free to play. And you really can't go wrong. It's free to play. The next question comes from another anonymous individual. Since Final Fantasy Versus 13 is taking ages for its release, you just love to rub that in, don't you? And with the next generation consoles on the horizon within the next year to 3, do you believe that Kingdom Hearts 3, when it comes out, could possibly be released on next-gen systems in addition to the PlayStation Vita? Oh, man, dude, that is an excellent question because that is a possibility that many fans sometimes don't, you know, understand because there is a possibility of Kingdom Hearts when it does release because Nomura said that there's going to be no Kingdom Hearts in 2012 no matter what anybody says, that he's not releasing 3 because they're still working on Versus. And Versus recently got into full development in August, so the earliest we could see Versus would be at the end of the year, but knowing Square Enix, if they want to put that TLC into it, maybe 2013. Possibly March, I'm not sure. And if they start work on Kingdom Hearts 3 right after Versus, we're looking at another 2 years at the minimum. So we might not see Kingdom Hearts 3 till 2014, maybe 2015, because this is... Unless they announce that they have like a separate team working on it like Naughty Dog did with The Last of Us, we're not going to see Kingdom Hearts for a while, which kind of pisses me off. And by that time, the PS4, the Xbox 720, and the Wii U will all be out. So we could see a multi-platform Kingdom Hearts game on the PS4, PS3, maybe even the Xbox 720. You never know. You never know because the PS4 will be more on lines with... The PS4... The PS3 and the Xbox 720 will be in the same ball game, so they could put a multi-platform release on that, and maybe the Vita, like he said, because the Vita, the handhelds are huge in Japan. You know, look at the 3DS and the Vita. It had a slow start, but it's getting its momentum back, and people are just waiting for those damn RPGs on it. So we could see it, but knowing Square Enix, they probably would like to release their own separate standalone Kingdom Hearts game. Oh boy, another fucking spin-off, another prequel, another in-between title. It just really pisses me off because I want 3. The story is already convoluted enough We don't need another one. We'll do another storyline. Just give us goddamn 3. We've waited long enough. The story, you already know. So there is a possibility that when it does come out, Kingdom Hearts 3 could be a multi-platform release. I'm not saying it'll be actually come out, but hey, possibility. And I'm actually glad you brought that up because I never really thought of that till now, and it actually makes sense. So thank you, anonymous person. The next one comes from Evil Crescent Moon. What do you prefer to watch anime? In English or Japanese? I actually did a video on this whole sub versus dub war. Dubs are better, subs are superior, all that happy stuff. It's called the Anime Rants Episode 2, Sub versus Dub. So you can check that out if you want to know my full stances. Basically, it really depends on the series, you know, my personal preference. It all depends on what language you want to watch it in. There are some instances where an anime is better in Japanese than in English because the English performance kind of wonky or whatever, like mostly for kids stuff. But then again, there are some anime where you can watch them in both languages, like Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, you know, animes where it really doesn't matter. It all comes down to what you think. And then like there are some animes that are better in Japanese. There are some that are better in English, like Shin-Chan, Ghost Story. So it just comes down to preference and choice and what you're more comfortable hearing. Overall, one is not superior to another. There are some that are better than others, but overall, it just comes down to what you think, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you want to listen to Naruto in English, go right ahead. I'm not stopping you. And vice versa. Just people get so goddamn defensive if you say, oh, I like watching Naruto in English. They're like, fuck you, man. I'm like, what? Alright, the next question comes from Hype Blaze. Nah, Bobby! Bobby, what's up, bro? Yo, let me get that Zulia. Inside joke for anyone who's wondering. God damn it, Bobby, what the hell is wrong with you? Alright, so Bobby's second question I can't answer here because it would take too long to explain, so that's getting its own separate video, my friend. First one, what'd you think about Asura's Wrath from the demo and your Comic-Con experience? Oh, wow, Asura's Wrath. The best way I can describe it is by not describing it. Go play the demo. It's available on the PSN and Xbox Live, and I believe it was released in Japan about a week ago. So, play it and you'll understand why, because I can't really fully explain it, because it wouldn't make sense, honestly. Because it's like this game that has all these quick time events with gorgeous visuals. It's set up like an anime episode. It doesn't make much sense, but once you play it, you'll understand it. It's going to feel kind of weird at first, because you're like, what the hell am I playing? But just try the demo, and then, yeah, because you're not going to hear anything logical coming out of this mouth if I try to explain it. So, no, Bobby, I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question, bro. Well, logically. Alright, the next question comes from Raigeki Corp. Do you think Scott Pilgrim will ever be an animated series? Man, definitely. That is a dream of mine if Scott Pilgrim actually gets a TV show done. Because Scott Pilgrim, you know, after seeing Scott Pilgrim versus the animation, the little side story they did before the movie, it opens up a door to what they could do. Because while Scott Pilgrim versus the World was an awesome movie, one of the most quotable movies, there were plenty of things that the manga did differently that they could adapt into a television series, and I think people would enjoy it. Maybe get the actors from the movie involved. You know, it could be great. I would love to see that. Maybe put it on Cartoon Network or something. I don't know. Or Fox will make a Scott Pilgrim series. But knowing Fox, if it's good, bad, popular, doesn't matter. They'll always cancel it. So the hope is for me, honestly, I maybe a web series. Maybe they might do a web series based off Scott Pilgrim. But man, I'm just gonna keep thinking about this throughout the entire video because man, what the hell is wrong with you? Why do people do this to me? That would be freaking amazing. That'd be awesome.